Hello everybody, and welcome to Wounded Healer Tarot. My name is James, and I'll be doing a reading tonight. This particular reading is for the sign of Cancer. Now, I am doing a spread here utilizing all four of the Kim Krans decks. I'll be using the Wild Unknown Alchemy to get what materials you're working with, and then the Wild Unknown Archetype to get what energy is currently influencing you. And then after that, I'll be using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. What's that? Yeah, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck to get the energy that you are currently embodying. And then I'll be getting 4 of the Wild Unknown Tarot cards for what you need to know. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, first off here, I'm going to say, for the materials that you are working with, I usually just take one card. One card is more than enough, but here we've got 3. And they all have to do with the sun. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of heat here in the materials that you are working with. And now, the way that the cards in the alchemy deck work in the guidebook, okay? Say, there's the description underneath here, and then to the left, there's a little random tidbit of information, and then to the right, there's a little tidbit of information. And on one of those sides, it was saying, if this, I believe it's the gold card, maybe? Was it the gold card, or let's see. Yeah, okay, now it is the summer card that stated, if summer is the season of fire, so if this card appears with other hot cards, there is need for grounding. And I mean, all 3 of these cards are representative of the sun, so I'd say that there's definitely a need for grounding, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, but that's just something that I wanted to point out because it seemed at least somewhat significant, probably to somebody. Alright, so as I already have this out here, first up we have gold. Excuse me. Now, with the gold card, right, this is not the gold that you're thinking of. Okay, it's not like the literal metal gold that they make like jewelry, coins, and like bricks of gold out of, right? It is not the physical metal, but the mystical essence deep within each of you, which they call alchemists in the book. You'll recognize it because it mimics the qualities of the metal itself, being soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright, which is why it's no surprise that gold is also associated with the heart. Now, this card represents something of incredible value at hand here, something marvelous and rare. And now, if I could get it off the table, the next card up we have here is Sun's Splendor, which, if you look at it, both here and there, we have the gold orb. So here, wait, I think I already held that up, but I'm going to do it again because the art on these cards are amazing and I love their colors. Now, Sun's Splendor, right? This is representative of abundance, fulfillment, and altruism, things that are considered long-term effects of the sun. Now, this energy makes you feel kind and generous, making you more like the sun itself, radiant and expecting nothing in return. I mean, if you look here, it is surrounded by, is that 5? Yeah, I want to say that is 5 gems. I mean, nothing says rare like 5 gems, right? And if you look into that sunset over there, I mean, you have gold in the middle, the gold orb, And then surrounded by the sunset colors being representative of the sun, all these beautiful flowers. It's a beautiful scenery. Like, I mean, how does this not make you, whoops, how does this not, make you grateful? How does this not make you, feel good? And when people feel good, they want to give back, right? When people feel good, they're kind, they're generous. And then lastly here, we have summer. Now, this could be taken literally as, is it still, I guess it's still summer, or it's coming to the end of summer. I'm not 100% sure. But, I mean, summer is also associated with the sun. Now, I mean, nothing says sun more than the summertime, right? Basking in its rays opens you up in ways forgotten. Lust, desire, laughter, sweat, physicality. These are all expressions of summer's fullness shining. Now this card represents a heightening of the senses, and it may feel like things are electrified or even about to burst. This is a time of many celebrations, gatherings where you connect with others. Summer is the season of fire. And I guess that's what that little red orb in the middle is supposed to be representative of. And then I believe that is the elemental symbol for fire there. Now, I mean, with all of these, right, things are definitely heated. And, I find it really interesting when we get to the next card that there's what looks like a moon, but it is colored to look like the sun. And it's another very warm or even hot card. You'll understand what I mean when we look at it in a moment. But yeah, with all these things here, I feel like you're working with a lot of passion, right? I feel like there's gonna be like a sort of lust for life, like embracing, experiencing life through all of your senses. Now, next up here for what energy is currently influencing you, we have the Queen. Now, like the King, okay, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. Not a good time. But regardless, if the king is the ego, the queen is the expression of that ego in the world. Now, when this queen is seated in her rightful place, then she is patient and forgiving. But no matter where she is, she's a magnet for the full embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. That to me tells me, or rather that tells me that, she doesn't deal with the bullshit. She could tell a fuckboy from a mile away. Now, I feel like there's definitely some sort of egoic battle here. It could honestly have something to do with an imbalance between the masculine and the feminine. Or just, that there's a need for an ego death. I feel like here it's speaking more so to an imbalance, and you'll see why in just a moment. Now, next up for the energy that you're currently embodying, we have Raccoon. Now, this, to me, this is the imposter syndrome card. A creative ego fear of sorts. I get that you're a creator of some kind, whether you do something like YouTube or are musically inclined or just anything else creative. You could be asking yourself things like, am I really who my audience thinks I am? Or what if I am ready to grow into something more? These are all, I would say, questions that have to do with, your identity. It's like, you're struggling with who you feel you are and who the people viewing you think you are. It's like who you are portraying yourself to be, because when it comes to artists, right, they have what are they called? They wear like masks in a sense, and not, well, okay, some do literally wear masks, but I'm not speaking about literal masks. I'm speaking about, like some writers, they have a pen name, or artists, they have their artist names, which are not always, associated with their actual name. They're able to portray themselves how they would like to be seen. So they have a little bit more control over that, but at the same time, eventually that causes the creativeness to suffer, right? That kind of, I want to say, kind of just takes away from their art, because your art comes from you. Your art comes from who you are. Your art represents your individuality, and if you're representing yourself as someone you're not, then that creates a bit of a conflict there. Now, for the last part here, what you need to know. First up here, we have judgment, which to me relates to that raccoon energy that I was just speaking of. You're seeking the truth of your inner struggle. No more blaming yourself or others. No more excuses. Now is the time for forgiveness and personal freedom. I essentially get from this that you're leaving fear behind. And now I'll show you here, these are the only 2 cards in this reading that are completely black and white. But yeah, with judgment, I get that, it is highly likely that you've been judging yourself even, within that raccoon energy. Now, next up here, for what you need to know, we have the Father of Pentacles. Now, to me, this is speaking to your entrepreneurial side, your passion towards your work, and how you prioritize your stability. Excuse me. I feel like, you could possibly be, someone who has their own business, owns their own business, or you could be somebody that has like a position of power if you're working for a company or anything like that. Now, next up here, we have the Son of Pentacles. And this is another card that gives me kind of like fire energy, because you see like the yellows, the orange in that moon there. The Son of Pentacles speaks to your loyalty and your dedication when it comes to your career. Whichever creative venture you're pursuing is going to take time to build, so it's going to also take time to hone your skills. Words, what are they? So, I feel like the Son of Pentacles is here to, remind you to just stay focused and take your time. Now, lastly here, with the Seven of Wands, it is likely that you feel fearful, seriously pursuing whatever it is that you're currently working on, because you know that you don't have any support from those around you. But I feel like this card is here to say, your passion will guide you. That all you need is that one stick, that one wand, that one torch to light your way. And that's coming from deep inside there. And, honestly, like this whole reading here just speaks to me of passion. Because, what else is going to get you to become introspective, right? Passion, whether it's, a passion project or a person you are passionate about. I feel like passion causes a lot of change. Passion opens you up, and not just to others, more so to yourself than anybody else. Because that requires a certain level of honesty with the self. That's what I feel like you're really getting to here with this raccoon energy and judgment. You know, it's getting to the root of that imposter syndrome. You know, what has you feeling this particular way about yourself? What has you in your head, you know, essentially questioning yourself and what you're doing, who you are, how others see you. But, you know, if I could just hold that, you know, with this summer card, you know, I definitely get you embracing yourself. And then we have, you know, Sun Splendor, which speaks to, you know, achievements and stuff like that, you know, being more open, being more generous. And then lastly, with that gold card, you know, because this gold card to me is like the real gem here. Like this is you realizing, you know, what makes you you, what makes you special, you know, what makes you stand out with what you do. And then I feel like, you know, once you have that realization, you get to the root of that, you know, that's when you really, you know, step into this queen energy where you understand your worth. You know, you are no longer willing to settle, and you are not, you know, accepting any less than what you know you deserve. And that's when this raccoon energy will disappear. Because this raccoon energy don't let you get away with shit. It's not going away until you resolve that inner conflict. And I feel like how you're going to resolve that inner conflict here is with that Seven of Wands energy. Wow, for a water sign reading, this was extremely fiery. Nothing wrong with that though. Alright, Cancer, these are the messages that I have for you tonight. And I do hope they serve you well. Be gentle with yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.